Now, National Treasury has informed the Polokwane Municipality of its intention to stop a 282 million rand allocation due to poor performance. Treasury says it is concerned by the fact that various grants allocated to the municipality performed below 45%. Now, Moloko Moloto has been keeping tabs on this developing story for us, and he is in Polokwane and now joins us live. Now, we've had various stories of municipalities in similar situations, Moloko. Do you get the sense that the National Treasury would like to make an example of the Polokwane Municipality? What is the latest from the ground there?
Hello, Marcel. Well, indeed, the National Treasury has written to the city of Polokwane. I think it was on the 17th of February, indicating that it's intending to stop the allocation or the payment of money amounting to 280 million rand. This is for various conditional grants which the National Treasury gave to the city of Polokwane, including the regional bulk infrastructure grant and the water service infrastructure grant. So it relates to the provision of basic services. You would understand, Marcel, that the financial year of municipalities in South Africa ends at the end of June. In other words, there's just a few months before the end of the 2022-2023 financial year, meaning that it looks like, according to the assessment of the National Treasury, the city of Polokwane may not be able to spend all that money. And up to so far, according to that letter that we have seen, the city of Polokwane has spent below 45% of the total allocations that had been budgeted to it. And we obviously understand that this city has issues relating to water provision. And if money is now going to be returning to the National Treasury, it's certainly going to hit hard, particularly on the ratepayers and some of the people in nearby villages who need this all-important services. We reached out to the Executive Mayor, Mr. John Mbe, and we asked why they have not been able to spend this money up to so far. And he says that there was a project management unit company which was a service provider appointed by the municipality to manage the projects on behalf of the municipality, and it didn't seem to have done a good job, so much that he says, as the municipality, they have had even to stop some of those projects so that they can institute investigations, because he believes in some instances there was wrongdoing. But he's saying they have responded to that letter of the National Treasury, and he says they believe that the National Treasury will not take this money back. Maybe let's listen to Executive Mayor John Mbe Marcel.
What is the solution to the challenges that has been raised by National Treasury is that the contractors, consultants are now appointed, and the money in question is now fully committed. And we are expecting to meet with all the service providers together with the municipal manager and the relevant MMCs and the relevant directorate to try and enforce, to ensure that all those contractual obligations are met in terms of the timelines.
To some of the people who are in that council of Polokwane, and one of them is Jacques Joubert. He is the leader of the Democratic Alliance in the city of Polokwane. Jacques, thank you so much for making time. 282 million rand is likely to return to the National Treasury if the municipality of Polokwane doesn't satisfy the requirements of the National Treasury. I mean, that's an indictment, is it not?
No, it's a serious indictment, and it's actually 283.1 million. So it's a serious problem, and this comes just a few months after we were not allowed a rollover of 142 million. And this is a few days after the council meeting of Monday, where we had to downgrade our adjustment with 60 million of capital infrastructure grants spending. So we have a serious problem of management and accountability here. I've heard what you've said that the mayor said about the situation, but the problem is until we have accountability for directors and managers and municipal managers and all involved, this will continue to happen. So I would be quite interested to see what the response was from the municipality side on how they would actually deter or better spend the money.
Yeah. So, Jacques, we are talking about over 280 million rand that may return to the National Treasury. Separately, for the previous financial year, you just hinted here that the municipality lost over 140 million rand, which the National Treasury refused to roll over into this current financial year. How is this affecting services here? I mean, in terms of potholes, there's an issue of water here. It's a huge problem.
It's a major issue. In Polokwane, we have all the normal issues which we see in all cities in Polokwane. Water is a major issue. And the problem is with this letter from Treasury, 7 conditional grants will be affected. So that will have a service delivery impact on everything, from transportation to roads infrastructure to water projects. And for example, the regional wastewater treatment plant will be majorly affected, I assume. If this goes ahead, we would like to see which projects will be affected, because the regional wastewater treatment plant is a critical one that should get attention. Because I'm not sure if you are aware, yesterday we laid criminal charges against the municipal manager for raw sewage going into the Sand River and the Blood River. Yeah. Because this is a continuous problem, and while they are seemingly waiting for the new project to start, raw sewage is going into our rivers, and this cannot continue.
All right. The Executive Mayor, John Mbe, says that there was allegations that there was corruption in some of these projects, and some of them they have had to stop so that they can investigate. He argues that had he not intervened to stop this alleged corruption, the municipality was going to lose even more money. He's saying this is the pain that you as the residents of Polokwane perhaps you will have to endure, so that as much as there's a possibility that part of this money can go back, he says in the long run, he's saving a lot of money for the municipality, which could be lost through corruption. Does he not have a point there?
Maybe he sees himself as the savior of Polokwane. I'm not so sure, but we see him regularly in the news for games that are hosted with chiefs. I think the attention should rather be given to the basic services issues.
Wait, do you have a problem with the contract which the municipality has to give the facility, the Peter Mokaba Stadium, to Kaizer Chiefs and a football club? What is wrong with that contract?
Nothing wrong with that, but it seems like the attention is going to certain sports, for example. We're on the sports issue now. Why is soccer getting so much attention? Marathons, because we know John Mpe is a keen marathon athlete. But while we are losing money or economic infrastructure or economic input into the municipality on the swimming pool, we should have hosted the provincial games here. We didn't have the swimming pool wasn't in a decent condition, so we lost that infrastructure going to Zanin. How can the Polokwane, the capital city of Polokwane, of Limpopo, lose those type of tourism to a smaller city? It's unacceptable.
What is the solution then, particularly with regard to the conditional grants that you seem to be continuously losing back to the National Treasury? What do you think ought to happen to ensure that this money goes to projects that are so needed in Polokwane?
Well, I would say the first step was taken recently. There was a panel appointed of contractors. So instead of us advertising each and every bid for separate contracts, we will have a panel of contractors. So once we have that panel of contractors, we will be able to appoint quicker and spend our capital infrastructure better. So I'm not sure whose idea that was. If the mayor wants to take credit for that, all kudos to him. But the first step was taken for that. So as soon as that has started, I assume the next financial year might be better. But for this current year ending June 2023, I'm worried that we are going to lose a lot of money back to Treasury.
And as we conclude, you are also not doing very well with regard to the bus transit system here, the so-called Leatola Polokwane. What are the challenges there, if you can just recap for us?
Well, we're still busy building the transit mall, so all the planning, it's behind. Everything's behind. And now this letter from Treasury, if we're going to lose 77 million on that conditional grant, I'm not sure if we will be able to complete any of those projects. And also remember, while we're on the letter issue, we paid 16 million prepayment on buses. Which that company is apparently being liquidated at the moment. We're in negotiations with the business rescue practitioners as we speak. We had a closed council meeting on Monday, so we are busy trying to recoup some of that money. But while we do that, we'll be held accountable.
16 million rand, you say, was paid for 9 buses that I understand were never delivered. I understand the executive mayor is saying that part of the allegations of corruption that he's investigating relate to that. But as we conclude, what is your role as councillors across the party line there? Are you guys working together with the executive, or you are more divided? Because the people of Polokwane ultimately would want to see services being provided to them.
Well, at the end of the day, we have an oversight role. So we reach out our hands, we give ideas to the municipal manager, we give ideas to the mayor. We call for meetings, which sometimes doesn't happen, like the one we requested with regards to the sewage issue. We were promised a meeting last week, it didn't happen. So we extend the olive branch, but we need some buy-in from the mayor as well. And sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. So we bring our ideas to the mayor, but if we don't get any feedback, we unfortunately have to be political parties and play the political game. That's how it works.
Thank you so much. Yak Yubert is the caucus leader for the Democratic Alliance in the city of Polokwane.
Okay, and that's Moloko Moloto reporting live for us from Polokwane. Thank you so much for that update.